Definitely, I think we have achieved what we thought we will achieve. I may just say, if I may just say, we had invited more than 150 people, suppliers, both Lesotho and across the borders. And the attendance was around 170 people. So for us, that is achievement number one. Number two, you might have seen the engagement and the level of engagement that was around this place. And also, we've heard from some of the local suppliers as well how they see this event and how they think it's going to help them. And for that, we think it's the first step towards the success of our vision.
This journey has started somewhere, and then we have been longing for this moment for some while. And COVID-19 restricted this from last year. But finally, this year we managed to take off. Every event or every initiative to start is not easy. Like I'm saying, we have been postponing due to COVID. To start is not easy, but now that we have started, we have also seen and learned where we could have done some of the things perhaps wrong. What is it that we need to improve on? And like we want this to carry on and on, so that we can ensure that whatever that we envisage or whatever that we are planning will be fruitful for the country and for the nation, for Basotho, for the locals. We are planning that this can go on and on and on. So hopefully next year we'll have an event like this to come and measure ourselves in terms of where we started, where are we next year, where are we a year after. Then measure as well in terms of the target. Are we achieving the numbers? We have seen the numbers in there. So we are hopeful that in the next coming times, we are going to see the numbers rising. So this is really a success for us.
What is very important is to start. So I think we have already started. So from here, we just have to build on from what we have already started. And also, building means we need to see improvement, we need to see partnerships of Basotho and whoever that comes anywhere outside the country, bringing the business in country and improving in terms of the economy and the skill and employment.
So localization, as much as we were doing it at the moment or since the new mining lease was issued or signed, now it's also a requirement. It's part of the requirement. And as Minopex, we felt that for too long, as much as we were doing it voluntarily, for too long we've been purchasing goods and services from South Africa. It's high time that we localize, especially the procurement. We localize the services. We upskill our people, that is Basotho. We give them what they need to offer to the mining industry. So localization, I mean, it will help in many ways because like we indicated, once we localize, once we procure from locally, that means job creation, number one. Number two, that means circulation of chelede within the country. And money is not going to be eroded across the border, but it's going to stay within Lesotho. So that means localization means a lot to us. And that's why we really want to drive it with high speed. The local suppliers, number one, they need to know their product. Number two, they need to up their service delivery. By knowing their product is they shouldn't bring to us a substandard product, because that will have a huge impact on us, because we are operating the plant, the processing plant, and the commodity is diamond, which is very precious. So if our quality is not up to standard, it means we are going to, it's going to have a negative effect on the downstream. So that's why it's very important that the suppliers give us good quality. But with these partnerships, we are hoping that is going to be resolved. But it was well said by one of the local suppliers that, guys, you need to know your product. You need to know what you are doing if you want to venture into mining industry.
On top of that, it's very important that you also understand the operation. That's why it was highlighted in there that go visit the mines. Not only, let's say, we have got the other companies that were here, Kaudi, Kobong, and Motai were here. It's important that you go and see what we are doing. Then from that, you'll have an appreciation and marry the operational requirement with the service or the product that you are giving. As my colleague is saying, that whatever issues that you can have with the product or the service, it has got the impact on the productivity. Our operation is 24 hours. You have to be available. You have to be available 24 hours to give that support, all right? And the other challenge is, look, we are not manufacturing in Lesotho. That is why the event. We want to bring those skills from the people that we are buying the stuff from now, from the companies that our local companies are buying the stuff from now. So we want those guys to come and have relationships and manage ties with our locals so that they can be skills transfer that will allow and assist the operation. You saw some of the stats that were shown from the other mines, how the Lesotho product in terms of diamonds is comparing. That is being done under pressure. And the other challenge that I've also realized with our locals is that we want to win today, or we want to be millionaires or have money today. You get what I'm saying? So they need to trust the process, be patient, know the product, know the operation, knowledge of the operation, know the quality expectations, know your product, and then everything, I think, if you comply with the rest, everything will follow suit in the future. So our operation is of high demand. It's of high demand, high pressure, 24 hours. So they must take it easy, don't want to become millionaires tomorrow. But once we have got the manufacturing capabilities, fabrication capabilities in country, it is going to help that they will have skills so that their products do not have quality issues.
Which I think our locals need to improve. I think in terms of service delivery is the turnaround time. I think the response rate is very important, because for the operation to stop for an hour is a big loss to the mine. So hence everything has to be done very quickly. So response rate, response time is very important, which I think our locals at the moment still need to improve a lot on that. Again, I think our locals need to also consider other products. You find one product whereby there's a lot of companies who are trying to offer one product, but there are so many which there's no one. So it's like we are focusing in one area. So I think we need to think a little bit out of the box and see what are those that are not available locally. What are those that we don't have anyone offering them in country? I think that's what we need to change. So I think that's one other issue. Yes, there can be a challenge of finance, but like Ndade said, we need to trust the process, be willing to invest on the time and the skill. Because if you don't have finance, you need to start somewhere. And when you start somewhere, the banks will be able to trust you, so that at some time then you get finance. So let's trust the process. Let's not rush and want to get everything done today, but be patient, but be willing and have the passion to get where we want to be.
The chairman of the chamber highlighted the issue of so many deposits of diamond in Lesotho. But the big question is, are they viable to be for operations? Because you'll find that as much as there are diamond deposits within the country or within Lesotho, it might not be that viable to operate or try to dig, so much that you will find your expenses outweigh what you're going to gain. Because by the time you reach that, let's say you dig for 20 meters before you can get a stone of this size, which is worth maybe 10 rand, yet you have spent 50 rand. That's the scenario. But now the other one is the investors, again, that's why the challenges that were highlighted here. This change in government regularly, it has got a high impact or influence or hampering on the investor side, because the investors are saying, should we go to Lesotho, should we not? What if I invest so many billions and then the government changes and then they come up with other policies? So that is very, very key as far as the government is concerned. We need stability, political stability within the country, so that the investors can say, we want to go to Lesotho. It's not only diamond. I mean, I'm sure there are other minerals within the country. So we need to explore them. And the investors, the one thing they look at as number one is political stability. So if once we cross that bridge, I'm sure things will come. And trust is one of the things that one of the suppliers mentioned. So we need to as Basotho businessmen and businesswomen, we need to build that high level of integrity so that the investors can trust us and say, I'm going to Lesotho.
It's really dependent on capital investment and the viability or the profitability of whatever source you have got. But in terms of the current challenges, as we highlighted earlier on, they are surrounding around the flexibilities to the investor, because he's equally important as me when I'm having the resource. So we need to look into our legislatures to see how they lobby and try and win the trust from the person who has got the money. You can have the resource, but if you're not able to exploit it, then you are stuck. In terms of wanting to produce more, like the Botswanas or whoever, look, I would say we are there in the map. If we are coming on the stats that were shown, we are coming number 3 from the bottom.
But with quality.
You get what I'm saying? But our quality is stunning. You get what I'm saying? Then to produce more, you might produce more and then you finish it in 3 years. And in that 3 years that you finish it, we are still having unanswered or uncovered opportunities like this one of localization. So no matter it takes time to operate it, then it means so many people are still employed. I don't think we need to be in a rush or hurry to produce millions and millions of tons like the other big giants are doing it. They might be having a lot of resource than what we are having. So let's trust the process. Let's make sure that whatever legislations that are put in place, they are in the benefit of Basotho, and they are in such a way that they are going to ease the way that we need to operate to win the hearts of the investors, to win the trust of the investors, so that with what COVID has taught us, we also don't look into this commodity-only diamonds, like the colleague was saying, that let's look into the other commodities as well. You get what I'm saying? Let's start understanding. COVID taught us this. This is the excellence that we saw in our mining operation. These were the rules and regulations that we had put in place. How else can we go and look into the other products that the country has got, wool and mohair? How can we manage those better? How do we start getting some of these investors that are coming in here now, mining-wise, to also start looking into some of the products that we do have? So I think the government and the ministries needs to start also being diverse in terms of looking into these things. So for me, I'm not in a hurry that we need to be producing large amounts of productivity, because some of the processes are not yet done to benefit all of us.
Sometimes we are doing ourselves injustice in the sense that we compare ourselves with other countries in terms of high productivity, not considering in Lesotho, the diamond deposit, most of them you can see are in the mountains. And for you to get to, Ndademu Fikeng is a metallurgist, for you to get to the kimberlite, is it kimberlite?
Yes.
You need to go through the basalt, and basalt is very hard. Therefore, it means your operating cost will be very, very high before you get to where you want to get. Unlike other countries, I mean, in other countries like Zimbabwe, you find that, I mean, you just scratch like with your hand, you just scratch there, you find diamond. But in Lesotho, you cannot do that. You need to go through certain features before you get to where you want to go. So our operating cost definitely will be very high.
I think in the next event, what we need to do, we need to look into other companies or suppliers whom we are not even working with. Because now we started with those that we are currently working with at the moment. So we need to also engage and include everyone. So that means expansion to other people, because at the end of the day, this is not only meant for the companies that we are already working for with. So it's meant for everyone, all Basotho. Hence why we even invited the media, because we want everybody to be aware of the purpose of this event, also to know that this is not meant for specific suppliers, it's meant for everyone. So that's one of the biggest things that we need to do in the next event. Also, it will be to track how far we are. What have we achieved from the previous event? How can we improve? We have lessons that we have already learned from this one, so we just need to improve on those.
It is very important that, like Elia Boch said, this is the initiative that is not starting today. You guys are starting to see today. It has been dragged from whenever it started to make sure that we can locally procure services and goods. So today we have put this in front of Basotho. Now they know about it. It is very important. Bigger for me, like the type is saying, it's results. All right, number one, let's get the results. Let's see that the marriage ties that we are promoting today, that we are wanting to influence today, they are going to give us a birth of a female, what do you call this? Calf. A female calf, okay? So that's key. We need to get the positive results from these marriages so that they can improve the numbers from where you have started to see them today. The number two, for me again, is that we, as you had in the vision of Minopex where you want to go, we also don't just want to focus in the mining only. So we are hoping that in the next events to come, there will be some diversity in terms of the sectors, not only mining sector, but there is water, there is all sorts of things, all right? With the capabilities that Minopex has got, silly Minopex now, like you said, with the capabilities that Minopex has got, there is opportunities to invest a lot of knowledge in the country, not only in this sector. So events to come, we want to start now also when this kickoff of localization is improving, the numbers, the trends are improving, then we also want to come and say, hang on a minute, with these ties, with these engagements, we have started identifying and finding some of the locals with this potential, and then this is the route that we are doing with them. So that will be the growth, not only in the mining industry or in the mining sector, but in any other sort of potential industries that Basotho are already engaged on. So for me, it looks like Minopex is really trying to widen up their scope, widening up the way that they are looking into things. And we are hopeful that in the next 5 years, we might say, guys, this is the route that we are taking, and then the spectrum is big. So we want the spectrum to be big in the near future.